I did get Vanguard to respond. God damn it. He said he'll be on in a minute. I don't know what a minute is, but we're gonna assume it's a very short period of time. So we're gonna wait for Vanguard, I guess. And then in the meantime, so yeah, apparently I did a huge goof myself, not realizing that any 3 corruption levels will make the Harbinger playable. For some reason I thought it was 3 corruption. I don't know why I did that. So yeah. Oh dear. So this guy is stupid, apparently. I can't be bothered to read cards. Anyways. Hey, Vanguard. So we're waiting for you. So you can call me if you're feeling inclined. If you can illuminate us with your mastery. Before chat gets out of control. Oh, the memes are starting to pile up. I'm getting concerned here. You know how these guys are. Once one guy posts a smork face, 10 more always follow. Okay, well, I guess while we wait for him, wait, so all the new cards are in, right? That includes the stuff like that Spore Guardian or whatever, right? And I actually did encounter it in a Trials game, which was interesting. It didn't really do anything, but we're still waiting for that overpowered plant deck that's gonna make use of Spore Guardian. Until then, I guess we stick with the usual. So hey, so many people were running Nepharos. Was that just is that some new metagame call, or is it just like you expect other stuff to get banned, so Nepharos always survives? And because of Haunt and Tombs, you can kind of always, you know, have a decent matchup against anyone? Or something like that? I was really hoping to see a lot more demons. And then, was it Lyris who brought three Smork decks? Shame. Shame on him. One does not Smork, just a Smork. It's basically like saying, I don't really feel like thinking very much. So I'm just gonna bring 3 decks that don't require any thinking on my part, and one will get banned, and then if I fuck up, I can always just blame it on bad card draw or something. Speaking of...
Hey, Fuzz.
Speaking of amazing players of Spellweaver, where's Britches?
Probably in the chat somewhere.
Okay. Oh, right. You're one of the guys that has a very pleasant American accent, so it's not too difficult to decipher.
I am as American as they can be. Yep.
I don't know if you were here when Rinriette won, I think. It's a bit rough sometimes.
He's won twice. I don't know if I've seen his interviews, though.
The second time. That was rough. But now we got Vanguard. Reverend Nathan here is to bring us the word.
I don't know if that's true. I mean, it was a good Masters. I got pretty lucky getting the bye in round 1, so it doesn't really feel like I deserved to win. And yeah, props to Sasha. I know that like missing the Tainted at the very end there, that's probably annoying, but I mean, all of us have made mistakes like that in the Masters finals, so don't beat yourself up over it. But yeah, I did not think I had a chance with Nepharos against that demon deck, so I got pretty fortunate there. Yeah, particularly, like, you got a chance if you get a Tombs out, I think, and put some pressure on him, but as soon as he haunted the Tombs, I thought it was over. So I feel pretty fortunate to have snuck that one out.
Well, I guess that purple Demons deck is still a bit experimental.
It's pretty good. I don't know, you beat me with it a few times, which is part of the reason I didn't play it in Masters, because I was losing some games with it, but I think a couple of us played it to top 5 on ladder. It's just complicated. It's easy to make mistakes, particularly under pressure in Masters. It requires a lot more math than a typical Spellweaver deck does, and I decided not to run it today because you can anything with artifact removal will beat it pretty hard. I was expecting more people to run demons, and I was expecting a little bit more artifact removal. There wasn't much of that, but yeah, overall, a lot more rush decks than I thought.
Well, also a lot more Nephiros decks. Like every other player had an advanced Nephiros deck.
Well, were you just watching me, Duel, and Hall y'all though? Because the three of us all often play almost the
Well,
same lineup.
not just you guys, but maybe it's just that it so happened that all the people I watched happened to be the ones that had it.
Yeah, that's possible. I don't think I went up against. I did. Duel had one that I went up against, but other than that, I don't think I ran into an advanced Nephiros deck. In retrospect, that last match against Sasher, I probably should have banned the demon deck, even though I ended up beating it twice.
You're right. You banned Elric. Well, it's the same deck
Yeah,
as you had, right? Just he had Crab
yeah,
in there, I think.
he has Crab. He runs a lot of energy effects. And I don't know. It's if he hits a dragon or a phoenix on an early passageway, it's really hard to beat it. And I don't like losing on luck of the draw that much. But I think that the mono corruption deck probably has a better chance against that wisdom rage deck than it has against demons. So I got pretty lucky to win that demons matchup.
Yeah, as we saw, I think somebody. Well, they didn't say, but they might as well have rated the whole game as a weapons grade facepalm on Sasha's part.
I don't think it was that bad, was it? I couldn't see Sasha's hand. Why does Elizabeth sound like a cat? Well, Elizabeth sounds like a cat because she's like 9 months old,
Well,
so she doesn't make a lot of.
babies sound like, guys.
Yeah, like babies at 9 months old, and she woke up as soon as I called Fuzz. But yeah, 9-month-old babies don't like really make a lot of noise, like real noises. They just make babbling noises and then kind of like grunting noises. But yeah, yeah. So anyway, I don't know what were we talking about, Fuzz? Oh, I didn't see any of Sasha's plays because I couldn't see his hand. There's probably one or two things that I did wrong in that last matchup. I can't remember exactly. I think I probably played worst, although I don't know where I screwed it up yet. I'll have to go back and look at the tape on this. In the zombies matchup against Lyrise or I'm not exactly Larice. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce his or her name, but I felt like I should have pulled that off, and he just put a lot of pressure on me. So I'm going to need to figure out where I blew that one. But other than that, I didn't feel like Sasha played badly, with the exception of just missing the tainted in that last, like the ability to go up level in that last matchup, which it's a new card and people haven't seen it before. So it's not super surprising.
Well, part of it is also the card has written into it is that if you it actually said in red, if you play this card you will die.
Right.
So
and it says that until you go up a level. Yeah.
I don't think it says that. I think it just says
once you
well, yeah, if you go up a level, it won't say it anymore, but
it won't say it anymore.
But
right.
Until
That's
you
right.
do, it basically has like a death warning label on it.
It does. It does. I was yeah,
hey,
I
missed
was
it too.
I knew it was there. I was hoping he would miss it because I could only get to 6 damage, and I really needed to get to 7 damage. It would have been nice if I had something in my hand to sacrifice that Death Curse Shaman or something just to ensure it and not even give him the opportunity. I don't know how the game would have gone for there. Like he probably heals for something like 26 or some ridiculous amount at that point.
He plays 3. Let's see. He took 7 or something.
Right.
So he played.
Yeah, so
1.
He was at 1.
So he summons 4 souls with the first one. So just 4 each time.
Yeah, 4 with each of them.
So
yeah, and then he hero powers.
And he has the vulture on the board already.
Right.
So that's 16 creatures. He sacks 1. That's plus 15, which puts him at 16.
16, and then he can sacrifice some souls.
Maybe it wouldn't have been enough. But
Well, because then his only play is to keep cycling the Harbingers at that point. So he's got to sack one of the Harbingers with his hero power. And then I think he probably has the ability to do two more next turn. But yeah, he would have been taking 9 damage from the portals. And I think it would have been tough to come back even at that point.
see, this is why I don't like
But
this version so much, because it just seems
you need
like
the chalice.
regular demons, but much harder for no reason.
I think it is better against a wider variety of decks because you can win by going face, you can win by mill, and you can win by life gain. But it's also more complicated and it's more combo dependent. Like particularly, he didn't draw a chalice the whole game, right? Like the game totally changes if he has a chalice on the board to heal. And he just didn't get one, which is unfortunate for him. It's unlucky. So I think I lost with it a decent number of times, which is why I didn't bring it to Masters. But I also think it can get starts, like the version that Z-Moon showed on his stream on Twitch a couple days ago. He won on turn 3 or something ridiculous, and you can do that. You can beat any deck in the game with the Demon Chalice deck, which makes it a nice inclusion for Masters. I don't remember what order the decks went in the first game, and certainly Sasha won the first game, so I wouldn't second guess him. But I was surprised he didn't lead with the demon deck, because in general, I think you want to give that thing 2 chances. He ended up getting 2 chances anyway because he won the initial match of the final round. But it's kind of like the Burning Rage deck. You almost always want to pick it first if you're playing in Conquest because you want 2 shots at getting Portal. I think the real reason he lost the first matchup against my Valor deck was he just never drew a Portal, did he? And it's really, really hard to win if you don't draw a Portal. I had some removal in hand, so even one probably would not have been enough. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad deck, but I do think it's inconsistent. It can win and be unstoppable, but it can also lose and not really have a backup plan.
So Zeman says that you shouldn't play the portal when you don't have a chalice. I think the way you can help the deck, just include more demons. Like, why is Dr. Styx not in that deck? I mean, that's such
The version I run has Dr. Styx in it, and I run Succubus too. I was surprised that he was not running Succubus or Dr. Styx in there.
Because he had 4 vultures, which seems overkill to me. Because Vulture is one of the least useful demons in the whole lineup. It's just there sometimes to, send guys back. But you so rarely win by milling that you just... But Dr. Styx can kill so many cards against a Valor deck, for instance. Could kill a Vanguard, for instance.
Right. That is true. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting when the deck lists come out. I don't think we've even seen the deck list from last Masters, but I'll be happy to put mine up. I felt much more confident about last Masters than this one, actually. I'm a little bit surprised that I won this one because, as my teammates know, I didn't even know what I was going to play up until like 5 minutes before the tournament. And I also wasn't sure if I was going to play. But yeah, I'll put my deck lists up. It'd be interesting to see Sasha's. I think it's probably better with at least 1 or 2 of the 1 or 2 succubuses in there, or succubi. And it's probably, like, I don't know what else he's running, but I think Dr. Styx, either to kill your own portal, like, it probably would have been game if he had a way, or he could have just killed my haunt, potentially, right? Or does Dr. Styx only kill artifacts? Either
artifacts way. Or creatures.
He could have killed his own portal and gotten rid of my haunt that was on that portal. He also could have haunted my haunt. He didn't do that. He haunted something else. I think my tombs. Haunting my haunt.
The first
one
went on the tombs, but the second one he just held. He didn't want to haunt the same tombs for the risk of you just overriding with another.
Oh,
and
got
then you
it.
just lose both. But yeah, haunting your haunt would have been the best play from the start. Then he gets 4 souls every turn instead of 2. So probably that was the first main misplay. Because imagine 2 more souls for the next 10 turns.
Right. Yeah. That's a lot. So, I mean, I think it's an interesting deck. I don't think anybody's got the list exactly right yet. Duel has a version with vampirism in it. But the reason I think it's good is because when the patch first came out, Duel and I were just messing around. And I told him I thought I had something that was really good. And he brought that Demons deck. and I got him down to, what were you at, Duel? I think you were at 1 life, and I had a board of 8 zombies, and Duel came back to beat me. I've never seen anything like it. And he managed it with that demon deck. So it's a cool deck. You need the combo. And if Sasha happens to draw a Chalice in that game against me, he wins easily. It doesn't matter whether or not he sees the Tainted on that last play. The game would have been over far before that. So I got pretty fortunate. I think that matchup likely favors the Demon deck 70-30 or 80-20. I just happened to get the right set of draws, and he didn't get the card that he really needed for his combo. So consider myself fortunate there. Yeah.
Yeah. But I still think that I don't think you should necessarily need to draw Chalice. Like, if you can't win without Chalice, that's kind of a problem. Whereas if you had, let's say, 2 Succubi even, and a Styx, you could, even without, Chalice isn't nice, right? But really, you don't even need them. Like, if you just play the normal version, you just run people over by turn 4 or 5, honestly.
Right.
You don't even care about Chalice. And the whole inclusion of Devious Plot, like, Devious Plot is there as removal, but Consume is so much better because it also burns damage. And then the what's the guy, the dude that you draw a card if you sack him, it just seems like
the Saiyan mercenary.
Yeah, it just seems like, is he there only because of Devious Plot?
Duel had him in the initial version of his deck that I played in Conquest last week, and I think I don't know. I think Duel and I were playing it. Z-Moon was playing a version on stream. I ended up pulling the Saiyan mercenaries out of my deck. I replaced them with Succubi or Succubuses because I think it's just the situations in which that Demon Chalice deck can lose pretty hard. It loses to things that have artifact removal, and it loses to aggro decks that just get so much damage on the board that it can't handle the combo. Particularly Rage Rush can be hard because you can't predict whether they're going to have a Flame Serpent or not. And so that makes the math with the portals pretty difficult. But I liked the Succubuses in that slot for the Phasean Mercenary better, because like one Phasean Mercenary against Rage Rush or against zombies, it doesn't really help you all that much. It does give you a little bit of card draw, but ideally you're going to get the Sell into Slavery Hero Shrine up, and then you're not going to need the card draw anyway. But I think that deck has a lot of potential. It just probably needs some tweaking. I was surprised more people didn't run it today. Yeah.
I was mostly just surprised that nobody ever wants to run just a pure black version of demons. Like with some exceptions, just I guess people just have an aversion to it.
To the pure black version,
right?
Hoppy was playing it.
With
I saw him play it.
Legionnaires and whatever. You just now you cut Bedeviled because Harbinger is just better than Bedeviled.
Yeah, Harbinger is better in that slot. I was a little sad for you, Fuzz, because I thought you were going to get to announce a Masters win. Obviously, I'm grateful that I ended up winning, but I thought you were going to get to announce a Masters final where Demons sealed the deal for the victor. I thought that was going to be really exciting for you, and it didn't happen, unfortunately.
It looked like it was going to happen, but
It really did. As soon as I saw the matchup, I was like, why on earth did I ban that Elreich deck? This was dumb of me. But yeah, I got fortunate there. Other matchups that I had, in case it's interesting to people, I got the bye in the first round, which is a huge advantage for 2 reasons. Part of the reason I don't really feel like I was way more proud of my first Masters win, and I felt like in that one, I brought a new deck that nobody had ever seen before. I beat Cruel Tech and Laurenthiel and Z-Moon and one other person who was pretty good, Auntie, I think, who had finished first on the ladder that month. But this time I got to buy round 1, so then I get to see what everybody is playing, because I can spectate everyone. So I know everybody's lineup, which is a little bit unfair and a huge advantage in a Conquest match. And then I ended up I think just having some fairly favorable draws on the Elizabeth, stop grabbing my microphone. Thank you. I ended up having some really favorable draws against Duel in I think my first real game was against my teammate Duel. I don't know if those were on stream or not. Were those on stream?
I don't remember. I don't think so. We didn't
That's
watch you
okay.
that much.
Yeah, we had like the exact same lineups. We had the exact same bands. We played the exact same deck first. And I just happened to get a better curve than him. So I won the first game, and then in the second game, I got a ridiculous number of Seluxios, Timeas, and Diogens, and there's just nothing any deck can really do against that. So I felt pretty fortunate this time around. I didn't feel like I played particularly well, but I got some luck with me. Which is good, because I felt like I had played really well last Masters, and Comsiant made some excellent plays to beat me at the very end in the finals. So sometimes the luck is with you. I think it takes skill to make Masters, and then like real skill to get 2 points in Masters, and then to get more than 2 points is like a combination of skill and luck. I happen to have the luck with me today.
You definitely can't do it without luck.
Nope. Yeah. Yeah. And I think the biggest news out of this Masters is that Hall got more than 1 point. How many did he end up with?
2.
2. Hall making progress. Was one of those a bye, or did he win twice? We're going to need to check on this.
I don't know, actually. Well, no, you got bye round 1, right?
I got the round 1 bye. I don't know if Hall got a bye somewhere in there.
Round 3.
Yeah. I don't know. Will Cruel ever win Masters? Will Cruel? I mean, it's not. Here's the thing about Crueltech. First, he's an exceptional player, even though he's annoying and mean, but he's a good Spellweaver player. And Crueltech, if you're out there, I really, really enjoy keeping 2 accounts above yours on the ladder, because I know it makes you so angry. And so I'm going to continue to do that for really as long as I play Spellweaver. I'm going to keep both my accounts above you on the ladder. But I think Crueltech, he just needs to get the luck to be with him. He's got a number of 3-point finishes. He's really, really good with Wisdom, Dominion, Control. I think if he branched out and played some deck that involved the good aspects, he might win a Masters. Because like if you look at his lineup today, it was Wisdom, Dominion, Control, Zombies, and Rage Rush. Right? Crueltech rarely deviates from the 3 evil aspects, and the evil aspects are good. But I feel like you get so many better cards for at least one deck when you run a Valor deck or something with Trigon in it. So I guess he does run Wisdom for the ramp, and he puts Timea in that deck, which is pretty cool. I think he'll win a Masters someday. I think he deserves a Masters, even though he can be mean. I even believe that in his heart, Crueltech is a good guy who just like gets angry at Spellweaver sometimes. But I am going to keep both accounts above him, because that is really motivating to me.
I just like how you managed to segue both, praising him and basically taking the piss at the same time.
Well, he gets mad at me because he'll be up in the global chat saying that I'm cheating by having 2 decks. And I feel like 2 accounts, and I feel like you can make that argument if one of the accounts was like super low ELO. I was using it to scout other people and then like jumping on my main account and then sniping them. Like that would be annoying, and it would be doable in the current state of the game, because we don't have a ton of players on ladder at any one point. So if you like play a few games, you get a sense of what's in the meta right then, and then you could jump on your other alt. So I do see where Crueltech's coming from, and I think the only way to prove him wrong is just keep both accounts higher than him in ELO, because that way mathematically I'm pretty sure I'm not sniping people or like cheating if both of the accounts are like number 1 and number 2. That just means I'm beating people when I get to them on ladder. So yeah, So yeah, I actually hope Cruel Tech wins a Masters someday. I hope Hall wins one first, because I think Hall has done a lot for the game, and deserves a Masters championship. But Cruel Tech, is one of the best Masters players ever, or Spellweaver players ever,
Sure
and
is.
he'll get a Masters someday. I'm really glad I didn't play him in the finals because that would make me nervous again to play Cruel Tech because I would never forgive myself if I lost to him in the finals, even though it's a lot of luck. So Cruel Tech, just know if I get matched up against you in the finals, you're going to be intimidating to me just because I don't want to be the person who gives you a Masters victory. I would much prefer to lose round one and then let somebody else play you in the finals.
Wow. The
Yeah.
the drama of Spellweaver is real.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get some more new players pretty soon, and with the mobile release, and hopefully those of us who have been playing for a while don't scare them away by running a whole bunch of meta decks on a ladder too often. Um,
Cruel
yeah,
will.
Cruel will, and that's okay. Um, so so I see my favorite Spellweaver streamer, Love Giant, in the chat. Uh, Asking when someone's going to run vampires in Masters, which makes me think of two things. One is that demon deck is pretty close to your vampires deck, Love Giant. I've seen versions that run vampirism. I guess it's not the vampire creatures, but it's the same colors, isn't it? And you got the chalice and you got the vampirism in there. So I think there's potential for somebody to run vampires in Masters, and maybe Torek did at some point. I might have made that up. And then second, I believe, and I don't know the details of this, but I believe we've got another tournament coming up, with the Ivia Cup. What do we have? Ivia Cup number 3. And I don't know the rules. I have asked. They are Comsiant and Halyal know the rules, and they are gonna explain them to us at some point, maybe in the chat. But I
Hopefully,
think we
yeah.
got a tournament launching either today or tomorrow. I'm not sure what the prize is. I'm not sure what the format is. But if people want in on that, then just let Halyal and Comsiant know. I think they're organizing it, and it'll be a unofficial tournament, or maybe it'll be official. Maybe Ivco's gonna promote it. But just like the last Ivia Cups, where we did the one where I think there were just certain cards banned, right, with sideboards, and then there was the other one that I really enjoyed with the hats, where you all chose cards that we had to play. That was a good one. I don't know what the format is for this one, but there's going to be something funky. What I'm looking at in the chat about it is all about seeding, and that's not helpful. It looks like people are going to be seated based on something that Comsiant decides, but I don't know what the rules are. So Comsiant, Halyal, do you all want to put those in the chat or Skype them to me and let me know what I should be talking about here? Put it in there.
Yeah. Kaliol says that I know. I don't really know because I just saw the.
Oh,
things
do you know?
that
You know the format?
Not quite, because I just saw the things that
Comsiant just
was
posted the
sending,
link.
and it looked like basically quantum theory to me. So
That's what I thought when I looked at it. No offense, Comsiant, but I was like, man, this is more complicated than I want to spend time understanding. So I'm hoping one of y'all is just going to explain it to us in like plain language, and then we can play the tournament.
all right, starting February 9th.
Oh, it's not starting today, so it starts next week.
Double elimination tournament.
Wonderful.
Let's see what it says on the rules. Blah blah blah. You must enter. Where's the deck building rules? There you go. You must send to, I don't know. Oh wow. Enter Shrining Mail Hall silencersucks.com.
Uh-oh. It looks like Comsiant sent out a version of the tournament that's not completed yet.
Well, is it completed? Oh yeah, not all the bands are in, at least. There's only like 4.
Halyal says, "Oh no, I haven't edited this yet." All right. Well, Halyal, don't blame me because you Skyped me and said I needed to make an announcement on this stream, so it is not my fault. What else is on here? Duel is also saying that as of today, he has the most Masters points of any Shrining team member, passing I'm a Hoppy. So that's pretty impressive, actually, because does that mean you have the second most all time, Duel? That's pretty good. Congratulations. That's huge.
Now, looking at I have the list of the players now. Cruel Tech has 38 Masters points.
Cruel Tech, that's unbelievable.
PewQ has 25.
Good job.
Duel has 23. I'm a Happy has 22. Laurential and Vanguard have 21. Jodo.
Oh,
21.
did I pass Jodo?
No, you guys are tied.
But I have more Masters,
the same.
right?
You guys have an average of 3 with 7 appearances.
Yeah, but I got 2 titles.
Right, so you win.
I win, Jodo. No, that's not true. Jado was playing at a time. Well, I don't actually know. The game is more complicated now because there are more cards. The player base was larger when Jado was playing the most, so it was probably more difficult to win a Masters title back then. But there are more options. Like back when Jado was playing Masters, there were a couple there where the top players ran the same lineup for like a couple Masters in a row, if I remember correctly, just because everybody knew what the best 3 decks were. So we got a lot more diversity in decks now, which is pretty cool. And yeah, like today, I don't think, were there any decks played the same in the Masters final? I guess we both ran some sort of Soldier Valor list, but mine was definitely different than Sashair's.
I don't think he had green.
Did he not have green? Probably, yeah. So was he just playing blue soldiers?
Yeah. Well, what does green add? Just Diogen?
Yeah, green adds Diogen. But you don't have to. You only need to hit 1 Trigon to run green, because you're just going 2 levels.
Oh yeah.
So green adds Diogen, and then in the version I play, green adds ranged to your chicken, which is what you want on a chicken. If you're not going to go green, you shouldn't play chicken.
Oh yeah, I mean I wouldn't think so. Yeah.
You were playing my Valor deck list. Well, that's pretty funny. I changed it. So I guess we were playing different versions because I changed mine.
Oh, wait, so hold, the rules we were talking about, that's gonna be the official? I thought we were just brainstorming. So the things we were brainstorming, in case you're curious, was something along the lines of no more than 3 copies of a card in the decks. And there was gonna be some like a committee decided ban list, like by the however many people are in it, say the 10 guys or whatever. And then crap, if I can pull this up, probably it's too far gone now. After all the quantum theory stuff he sent me from Comsiant, that I just stopped even bothered trying to understand. But I mean, I don't know if we're necessarily set. I mean, we could just have like a few of us get together and decide these rules. We don't have to really go that extravagant. The whole forcing people to play cards, I think, is a bit lame, because it actually gave some people an advantage over others, where some people got a card that was utterly useless and some people got a card that was actually alright. So that, yeah. I don't really like that very much. And what else? And
I kind of enjoyed it, but it was interesting from a deck design standpoint. But I would also love to get, I don't know how we'd pull it off, but some sort of team competition. Since Dream Reactor hasn't had a chance yet to put teams into the game, I think that would be pretty fun. And that would get me to play ladder more as opposed to like the last week right before Masters. But yeah, I think we can decide a ban list. And then there's this question in the chat of, yeah, Hall, if you want to draw stuff out of hats, I'm not going to swear in front of my daughter, but if you want to do that, go for it. Yeah, so I would say, how should Harbinger be changed to make it interesting but not be Banshee combo on steroids? I got a couple thoughts on this. One is, before we make changes, I would give it like another week or two, because if you've noticed, there's actually not a lot of Harbinger on ladder, and even in this Masters, a lot of people shied away from playing demons because you can tech against it fairly easily with like, so for instance, if I'm playing ladder and I'm playing Wisdom Rage Zash, which is a really good ladder deck just in general right now, depending on how I build that deck, I've got somewhere between 4 and 6 artifact removal cards in there. So against like that demon combo, and a lot of those artifact removal cards are on curve. Like Detonate is on curve to kill Portal. So one thing I'd suggest is like don't nerf anything until we at least see how it plays out and allow people to adjust their decks. Because like Detonate was not being included in Zash lists, and then once Demons gets run a lot, like you put Detonate in there, and it's a really hard counter to the Demon deck because the Demons deck has no way to get those portals back from their graveyard, as far as I know. You could do something interesting with blue. Maybe does blue have a card that returns artifacts to hand? I don't think that it does. We should probably have
Drone
like that.
returns artifact creatures.
Creatures, but not a portal, right? That would be dangerous potentially with Reflector. But yeah, like more people can just start teching in artifact removal. Like Gnome Power Engineer might actually see play again. Detonate is good. Dragonfire is good. Haunt is decent. It's not as good as pure artifact removal, but it's decent. The Bark Convoy can be really great against a demon deck. So, but then if it does turn out that that demon list, like if people tweak it and it really does become oppressive, and it is not fun to play against in the way that Banshee combo was sometimes not fun to play against. I mean, I think there are a couple solutions. One is if you just want to focus on the card itself, either cost it up, like make it do what they did to Forced Labor, make it cost 4 rather than 3, or just make it not a demon, and then you're not going to be able to chain them together with Portal, but it's still a good card in the way that like we saw Duel playing it just in his mono Corruption deck, because it's a decent card in Corruption anyway. So that's one option. The other option is probably to do something with Portal, and because Portal really limits the design space for demons, but Portal is also super, super cool. So you could like make Portal legendary, for instance. That could be a way to slow down.
That doesn't really do anything because you don't even need more than one most of the time.
Well, but it does, like, it gets rid of
actually,
the really...
it would be a buff because that means if I have a Portal with 4 energy, I can replace it with one that has 0. So
right.
I can remove Portal with a Portal.
It would be a buff to the more traditional kind of aggro demon archetype. But to the Harbinger chain version that like Z-Moon has, when that gets really oppressive is when you have 3 portals on the board, because then you can play those Harbingers for free, and then you can use then on like turn, if you have 3 portals out on turn 3 or turn 4, I forget which, you can play 3 Harbingers or 4 Harbingers if you get lucky with your draws for free. Then you have the mana to hero power and sack, and it's a 1-turn heal on like the 3rd turn of the game or the 4th turn of the game. And there's nothing any deck can do against that unless they happen to draw their own artifact removal. So that could be an option. I don't know. I don't know if I like the idea of making Portal legendary. I think my solution would probably be just make the either make it 3 levels, but then the tainted if you make it 3 levels, tainted doesn't work, so that's silly. Then I just make it cost 1 more mana and see what happens then.
Ugh.
Because at 1 more mana, then it's a lot harder to play multiple Harbingers and get an Enoch hero power off on the same turn. And that's like the play that the deck is relying on to win. But it's still by itself a good thing to drop for. I guess it would cost 3, right? If you made it cost 4, it would cost 3 with 1 portal down.
What you're basically doing is it's a card that's decent with Portal, trash without it.
That's potentially true. So you might not want to do that. Yeah. I kind of like the idea of considering Portal as legendary. And I think it does make more traditional demon decks better.
Oh my god, please, yes, let me reset my Portal without having to use yet another, like without even needing ever any other way to do it. That'd be great. I mean, you already don't even have to worry about it because you get so much healing from Harbinger. You just actually go up on life. And then you just put so much pressure because you're drawing an extra card and all your creatures cost 1 less mana.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, anything else? I know, Fuzz, I should probably not keep you on here too long, but is there anything else that people in the chat are wanting to hear our perspectives on? Elizabeth's getting a little frustrated with me, so I probably got to go pretty soon. But screw Silencer. Here, okay. So like Silencer, I know I put my thoughts on this in the forums. Silencer is frustrating to play against, and if you really hate it, I encourage you to play with it more often, because or just go back and watch the stream of my game against Larice's zombies, and maybe like it's very possible I screwed up there. I'll go back and look at it
Oh,
myself
I
and
remember that game. Yeah,
but
I thought
but
you
like
went way overboard with silencers.
but I had 4 silencers in hand, and it does absolutely nothing because, like, a silencer cannot regain board control for me, and so it's just a dead card when you're behind on the board. Silencer is the sort of card that takes a game from being like 70% to win to 95% to win if you play it at the right time. So that's like annoying because if you're on the losing side, you go from feeling like you have a chance to feeling like you've just lost,
Yeah,
and it's all the silencer's
to
fault.
feeling like KFC, basically.
Right. But the thing is, you didn't lose because of the silencer. You lost because of all of the stuff that happened before the silencer. The silencer just sealed the deal against you. And when you're behind on the board, silencer is almost useless most of the time. It doesn't give you any mechanism by which to come back. And you see that in the game against Larice, where I had a bunch of them in hand. You would think, like, for 4 mana, 4 levels, that should be a card that gives me a chance to win the game. And it didn't. It's just a dead card at that point. I still tried to play them. It didn't work. So that was probably a mistake. And I'll go review it to see what I could have done differently.
Yeah, you had to play Dragon instead.
Yeah.
Of Silencer.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I don't remember the exact game, but that sounds probably right that I should have played the dragon earlier.
Though you do
Yeah.
lose the Sanctum, but you
Right.
basically have to
Yeah.
hedge your bets.
Yeah. So I'll go look at the game, and I'll have the better Wisdom Rage players than me take a look at it and see what I did wrong. But I do think, like, I get why Silencer is super annoying, and then I guess I have a lot more sympathy for when an opponent plays Silencer now that I have tried some decks that use it myself. Because I used to play just like straight up aggro stuff. And this time I played a lot of control decks this time, or mid-range decks. And Silencer was really annoying to me when I played a lot of aggro. But now that I've tried control, I realize half the time you don't even want that silencer in your hand, or you put it down and it doesn't do much. So I don't know. I would encourage people to try it out themselves. I don't think it's as bad as people think it is.
You know what it is? It's a side effect of Horizons. It's lame because your opponent can play it like 2 turns earlier than he should. Like, he plays Silencer when you still have only 3 mana.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what am I supposed to do, right? It's like your whole game is just shut down.
Right, and it's frustrating. Yeah. So, anyway, I would not advocate for a silencer change. I think that, yeah, and I agree with what Larice is, and Larice, let me know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. What Larice is saying in the chat, he didn't need the fumes and the succubus. That he like threw 2 cards into my silencer, so it's a 2-to-1. And it's a trade of 4 of my mana for 5 of his mana. That's not I mean, it is better for sure, but when you're behind on board, it's not significantly better than a Splitting Headache. I guess it is significantly better than a Splitting Headache. Like, Splitting Headache is going to cost me, it's like a 2-level 3 mana card, so I'm going to trade 3 mana to go up 1 card compared to my opponent, because my opponent's going to discard 2, I'm going to lose 1, the Splitting Headache. So I spent 3 mana to go for like +1 card advantage. Silencer gives you, in that case, +1 card advantage and +1 mana. But the downside is, on your turn, you're basically doing nothing most of the time. And so when he has a Tombs on the board, he's just swinging to hit my face. So I probably should have put a dragon out there earlier.
Well,
yeah.
Hang on. Well, that's only because you do nothing only because at that time you had like only 5 mana. But once you get like 10 mana and you can just freely throw a silencer on the board along with like a dragon and a Djinn or something, that's when it gets stupid.
Yep. Yeah, and that's why the Wisdom Rage deck, in my opinion, is the best deck in the game right now. So I definitely think Silencer is good, but rather than calling for cards to be nerfed, I think we should just like I think those are fun cards by and large. Like let's not make it so it's unplayable, like Scatador's Bidding. Like who plays Scatador's Bidding now? I didn't like that sucks. Now we have one less card that's any good. So
Yeah, that was
yeah,
not a good redesign. It is completely useless, basically. It's a meme
it
card.
is it is
And
really
Time
really
Twister
useless.
is asking, what could we do to fix it? Well, it's like, what do you want a big... Does every aspect have a big card like that now?
Yeah, I mean, in green, you've got Grand
The
Reunion.
Grand Reunion
In
is good. I think it does what it's supposed to.
Prosperous
Apocalypse is a
Ruling,
little silly.
yeah, Apocalypse is useless.
Prosperous is, I think, a little too weak.
Yep, it is. And then you've
Silencer's
got
okay.
Silencer, the Reign of the Underworld in black, which just locks the board
I don't see.
and
I wish
makes
that was
everything a slave.
redesigned. It doesn't. It doesn't really do anything cool.
Yeah, and then Scatadors, which doesn't do much right now.
It's completely useless.
The thing about Scatadors is that Dominion just works so well with Wisdom and New Horizons that if you make it too good, it's going to be most likely to be played of the 4-level cards, at least in my opinion, because that deck just fits. So I don't know what you could do to make it better. I think the other redesign options were interesting. Like I think Drygord suggested something that I don't remember exactly what it was, but would have seen more play than the current version of
Sorry, I don't
Scatadors.
remember what his was.
I don't
was.
remember. I don't remember
I don't
either.
think I submitted one for that at all.
Yeah. Um, if we did another redesign contest, that would probably be the one to take a look at, because
I don't know
I mean,
why that
even
even won. Well, could people voted for it? What?
yeah, people voted for it.
I don't get it.
And it might have been because some of the other ones might have made Wisdom Dominion too strong. I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly, but and people maybe just wanted to spite Cruel Tech and PewQ, because at the time Cruel Tech and PewQ were playing Wisdom Dominion on the ladder a lot. But yeah, I don't know what it would take to fix it, but it needs to be different than it is right now.
Well, it needs to give you an advantage, unlike this one.
Right.
Like this one is
Yeah.
just symmetrical. I mean, you get a slight advantage, but for what you're paying, I'd rather play a Karthus.
Oh, for sure. And like, or my thinking, and Ivco, if you're listening, I apologize for this, but Ivco usually thinks that cards are like average and they end up being super, super good. And even Ivco said Scatadors is not going to be very good if we do it this way. So even he knew, and I think the developers knew, that the card was not going to be super good, and it's not. It's pretty useless, and I don't see
complete trash. I think let's not mince words. It's complete trash.
Yeah, and for an epic, for a 4-mana 4-level card, you wanted to do something cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though I don't play a lot of those aspects, I'm not like a Wisdom Dominion expert. You wanted to do something cool, and right now it doesn't do much. So, if we were to reopen the redesign contest, which I don't actually think we should do, but if we were, that would probably be the first card to take on, because I think we probably just got that one wrong as a community.
Yeah. For sure. And yeah, as far as cards like Prosperous Ruling is, I don't know. This just takes me back to when we started the Great Rebalance project. You weren't in on it, which is a shame.
I was not.
But because you weren't around yet, you weren't a name in Spellweaver. This was back when was myself, Boltor, Jodo, Laurentiel, and one more person. I don't remember who the last person was.
Peacekeeper?
Oh, Peacekeeper. Yeah, it was Peacekeeper. So yeah, the 5 of us, we had like a 30-page document where I made suggestions for cards and they all commented on them, and agreed on some things, disagreed on some other things. I feel like that the whole point was to make sure every card is at worst not good enough to be played and constructed, which is fine, but nothing should be like complete trash. Like you look at this card and say this is just completely worthless, and no card should be too good. But,
yeah. Wait, the dual Duel, try to make an Apocalypse deck. Sorry, Duel is commenting on the Apocalypse being decent. And I am going to need to go in a minute because you can hear the baby getting frustrated with me. But yeah, I think can't tell, but you can't play both cards in one turn.
He means from bidding. Like, you can only play one of the two.
Oh.
You can only play one card from bidding per turn, and your opponent can play one card.
Right. Which, yeah, maybe your opponent just shouldn't be able to play a card. Like, does that make it playable? I need to look at the design.
It would
I don't
be
know
a
if that
lot
makes
better
it too good.
if only you could. You could play some of his cards without paying attention to, like, or you could, like, use any aspect. So if you have 4 aspects, you can play anything, right?
Right.
If you have 3 aspects, you can't play 4 aspect cards. That would be interesting. Maybe it wouldn't be that great, but it would not be, like, terrible.
Yep. Yeah, it might be usable at that point. Let me see if I can find the redesign. All right. Oh my gosh, there is so much trash in the forums. I don't know if I'm ever gonna find this.
Didn't we have like a dozen mods or something?
No, the mods are doing a good job. It just takes a while to find this. Okay, so the options were. Here are the ones we could vote for. Merits was 3 mana, 4 aspects. Select 3 Dominion action cards with a mana cost of 2 or less in different names and have the enemy hero choose one of them. You may cast this card for free as if it were in your hand, and you could do that every turn. So the things you could choose: Mind Extortion, Assassinate, Power Surge, Soul Flames, Word of Power, Devious Plot, Hypnotizing Whispers.
And you choose. Your opponent chooses one? Oh, you choose the 3, and then he chooses one of those, and you cast it for free?
Yeah.
It seems like your opponent should always be able to choose something not useful.
Yeah, seems like it. Then Lord Xenon had 3 mana, 4 aspect. At the end of your turn, if you have 20 mana crystals, you win.
What? No. Just no.
I don't like that at all. There's like not really an opportunity for your opponent to respond to it because we don't have instant spell removal. And also, how often are people all it leads to is like ridiculous Word of Power decks that are ramping mana crystals, hoping to get to 20 and hoping their opponent can't kill them before they drop that on the field. That's not like super fun. Drygords. I liked this one. It's kind of like the Dominion version of Grand Reunion. At the end of your turn, search your deck for a Mercenary or Assassin card and play it without paying its mana cost. Shuffle your deck. So this is
Mercenary. So the Prinha is an assassin, right?
Yeah, so you could get Prinha, you could get the whatever the 1/2 assassin is.
Shadow Step Assassin.
Yeah, Shadow Step, and then I don't know what the mercenaries are, but there aren't that many of them.
There's the 3/2 range. There's the Facing Mercenary. There's the Moonsteel. I don't know. Moonsteel might or might not be one.
Right. Well, let me just look quick. So anyway, I think that's interesting because you don't see a lot of Dominion creature decks, and that one potentially lets you run a Dominion creature deck. So the assassins are Shadow Step, Prinha, Swiftblade, and Mistress. So it's the 3/2 ranged that you got to pay 1 mana for, and then the 3/3 Mistress that got nerfed, and then the mercenaries are the Swiftblade Assassin is not an assassin; it is a mercenary, but it would still work. And then Phasean Mercenary, Temptress, and Mutant. So you could get a deck that's like pulling Temptress and Mutant out for free. That's pretty decent.
It's from your deck, right? Because these are obviously much weaker creatures than like Titans and stuff.
Right, but there's no chance of missing. And I think you get to choose. So whereas with Reunion, you just get whatever's in the top 5. In this case, you could pick anything in your deck. I think that could be fun.
It's much better than anything else that's been mentioned.
Yeah. And then there was Vitamin C's, which was when Scatador's Bidding enters the field, choose 1. At the start of your turn, give an allied creature plus attack plus HP until the start of your next turn. Or whenever you play a Dominion spell, you can put a weakless emblem on enemy creatures with a total mana cost of up to X, and X is equal to half your mana crystals rounded down. It's a little complicated, but it's a legendary card. It's definitely better than the current version, and then the current version, which was what we have, which is not very good. Um, yeah. And what Ivko said was, uh, it's most likely too chaotic and risky to be used in competitive play, but it is a fun card for casual play. We're including it in the vote as a more casual-oriented card after clarifying the wording. I just don't think it's... And so that one won by 2 votes over Drygords, the kind of grand reunion one we were talking about. So I think... I don't know what I voted for. I'm pretty sure I voted for Drygords. If I could go back and vote again, I'd vote for Drygords again. But the one that won only got, like, a little bit more than a quarter of the votes. The votes were just split out across 5 options.
Oh, man. We should have used the single transferable vote method to fix that.
We should have. Yep.
Because I bet you that wouldn't have won in that case.
No, it definitely wouldn't have won with a single transferable vote, probably. All right. Well, I should probably head out.
Yeah, good talk. I
yeah,
mean, if
thank
this...
you, Buzz.
Hall, y'all, and whoever, just keep us updated. I mean, I'll play it in Nivea, of course, if you want.
Nice.
And I'll stream it probably, or make videos, whatever. And then,
yeah.
Other than that, also, thanks, Time Twister. Although you should have seen my big gaff with the Slave Gladiator. That was also the birth of the meme, Seems Fair, in case you're wondering.
What was your Slave Gladiator gaff?
When I was doing a review of my review, in the original review, I looked at it. That's when it was a 2-2, mind you. I said,
yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it seems fair. And then the real me just burst out laughing, saying, "Yeah, it seems fair, right?" When it's been dominating the meta completely.
Yeah, as something that I want to see somebody build before I head out. Maybe I'll try to build it myself. We haven't seen a lot of Coronis, Rage, Dominion, aggro since all of those nerfs. I think Jackery got nerfed, the Gladiator got nerfed, lots of things got nerfed. That new...
Jackery lost 1 attack, yeah.
Yeah, that new Rage card, the whatever it is, the Merchant.
Oh.
I think it's fairly useless, except for maybe bringing Slave Gladiators back from the graveyard. So I'd be interested to see if somebody can put together a version of that deck that uses the Merchant to get a whole bunch, to like bring all your Slave Gladiators back for basically for free. Because I think you could do something like that.
Well, there was some broken combo with that where it would bring it back, it would die to something, and then it would just you could just bring it back forever.
There are a few broken combos with the Merchant, but you're never going to get them set up in a competitive game. Like, if you can draw your whole deck if you have a Blood-Seeking Mutant and a Phasean Mercenary and the Merchant, or maybe you need 2 Merchants, but like, how on earth are you ever going to get that set up on your board? Nobody's ever going to let you live long enough to set that up, and then you just drew your whole deck, but like, what are you going to do with it? Or you can gain infinite life or do infinite damage with, say, a Death Curse Shaman, I mean, there are a number of things you can do with the Merchant, but it's so expensive that I don't think it's feasible to get 2 of them on the field in the way you really need 2 of them on the field to set up any sort of infinite cycle.
Yeah, still, infinite cycles tend to be bad. Because
that's true.
Sooner or later, I mean, how much trouble has the Enchained Soul caused already?
A lot of trouble.
A lot, because its ability can be used an infinite number of times.
Right. Z-Moon says he can beat almost anything with the Merchant deck. Why didn't you bring it to Masters today, or did you? I want to see if you have a Merchant deck that can beat almost anything. I would love to see it, but why didn't you play it in Masters?
Oh, he said it only beats it with 40% chance.
Oh, okay. So you got a 40% chance to beat anything. Got you. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's not very good. But, all right. Well, thanks so much, Fuzz. I gotta head out, but appreciate you having me on.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's a great way to pass the time. It's much more boring if I'm doing the send-off myself. And now that album magically disappeared.
Yeah, where'd Album go?
Don't know. He didn't even say anything. Like, hey, bro, I'm not going to be doing this masterpiece.
Well, Yeah, he hasn't really been on our Skype team channel for a little while, but I saw him post a couple things in the forums earlier this week, so I don't know. Hopefully he's all right. Album, if you're out there, we want you back.
We need your beautiful face and soothing voice.
Yep. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.
Bye.